We've seen many domains in JJK, but the idea is so interesting that if I'm being honest, I don't think we've seen enough. As it has so many possible applications, I mean, a pocket dimension where you alone have absolute power. Unfortunately, however, due to characters not reaching their full potential, many of our favorite characters have not been bestowed one. But I think, at least in this video, why not change that? So me and my friend decided to present to you what the domains of NANAMI, NOBARA, HANAMI and TODO could possibly be with some beautiful art by my other friend. So yeah, my boy's going to be taking over half of the explanations. This is the first proper video he's been in, and also I'm not liable for anything he says. He talks his own stuff, but I let him cook, man. Don't look at me if he says some wild stuff.
TODO, my favourite Grade 1 schizophrenic. TODO is one of the more capable sorcerers at Jujutsu Tech, carrying literally every single bum in Kyoto. Not well, except for my precious king, Mekamaru though. Free him up, he was holding my plot. TODO is one of the many sorcerers that would have a more interesting domain, with being less straightforward than others due to the complexity of his curse technique being non-lethal, in which a simple explanation of his curse technique is it allows him to stop places of anything that has curse energy within range. On the surface level, the curse technique isn't much, but used in conjunction with Jujutsu Kaisen's favourite thing, which is jumping the fuck out of people, 99% of opponents have a fucking aneurysm and start bugging out. But it's only under the condition that TODO claps his hands. Which leads me to an explanation of what his domain is. It's called Boogie Wonderland. Similar to Law's Room in One Piece, being able to swap the location of anything within its range, such as teleporting individual parts of a person's body like their heart, legs, or even himself outside the domain, without the conditions of him having to clap his hands. But TODO can also teleport all inanimate objects caught inside his domain, which leads me to its appearance. Reflective of his wacky personality, his domain takes the appearance of a dance floor in a high-rise nightclub, which is surrounded by other skyscrapers, which TODO can also teleport. Did I forget to mention that it's also in space? Surrounding the dance floor is a crowd of people clapping their hands in rhythm, so TODO can teleport without having to actually clap himself. Paired with TODO's IQ of 530k, I think this domain fits pretty well for him.
Yeah, I really love this domain. I mean, even down to the name, Boogie Wonderland. Broke it with that name. I'm not gonna lie, I love that name. And also the crowd being able to clap with him and stuff. And also another note is that this domain would work really well in a jumping situation, as is TODO's kind of whole MO throughout the show. As you can teleport not only them but also individual things and even individual attacks. So let's say Gojo was in TODO's domain. Gojo could use Holo Purple and TODO could teleport that Holo Purple to the opponent, acting as a sure hit, which is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it works really well. But let's move on to my girl NOBARA. NOBARA is both a country girl and an almost psychotic Jujutsu sorcerer with a deadly technique which reminds me of evil witches or something. And her getting a piece of you would literally be, well, the nail in your coffin. So what would NOBARA's domain be? Translating NOBARA's ability is a little bit weird because her normal ability kind of already is a guaranteed hit with resonance, so her domain will basically just remove one of the steps. So instead of needing to have one of the person's body parts, she is just able to do it. However, she doesn't hit a straw doll, she has to hit herself or one of the scarecrows in her domain. And those being Shikigami, which are extensions of her technique. So if you hit her or hit the scarecrows, or if she hits herself or any of the scarecrows, that damage translates over to you. And also an additional benefit, her normal nails get increased with more speed and accuracy, and she's basically able to make infinite of those. I think that's pretty decent. And as far as aesthetics go, as you can see, it'll be in a countryside field lined with scarecrows. It's quite simple but effective for this character. And the name of this domain will be Field of Tethered Souls. So yeah, tell me what you think about NOBARA's domain. This one was kind of difficult to create because unlike TODO's, which was pretty smooth, her one went through a lot of changes. I originally went for more like horror kind of theme, more scary. Originally I was going to put like spinning nails in the air and stuff, but I feel like this one comes together more cohesively and I think it makes a lot of sense. And obviously having the reference of her hitting herself, allowing her to hit the opponent, which is a reference to the fight with Eso and Ketchuzu, I think it all works very nicely. But my boy's going to take over once again for HANAMI.
Alright, so moving on to HANAMI, the extra chromosome cursed spirit that thought she could take on my blue-eyed king and got redecorated on Shibuya's train station wall. Rest in peace. There's not much to go off of with this character due to her only screen time being spent being a professional victim. So I'm gonna cut to the chase. This environmental activist gone terrorist rules a disaster cursed plants. Her technique allows her to manipulate cursed plants that are able to grow out roots from the ground, create wooden balls, create buds that suck away cursed energy, and even create a flower field that attracts people by taking away their will to fight. Think of like Hashirama from Wish. Now, in this series we actually saw Hanami use her domain for a split second, before big old puppy Gojo blasted a hole through her. From the setup we can see that she sucks cursed energy from the ground, from the surrounding plants. And from that we're going to speculate what her domain may look like and will do. We actually have the official name, which is called Shining Sea of Grown Branches. Once her opponent is caught inside her domain, multiple forms grow around them, and people's bodies start to get their cursed energy sucked away, creating an environmental advantage with trees and plants growing everywhere. Hanami truly can attack from every direction, using enhanced versions of her base technique, but she's also able to output a beam charged from her right arm, using all the cursed energy she sucked away from her opponent, multiplying it by 2. But yeah, that's basically it for this character. There's not much to really go off of because I don't think anyone gives a fucking Scoobies about her. Rest in peace, my short-lived jobber. You will be missed.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about her either. I mean, to be fair, I want to do something more crazy with her domain, but it's just gonna be trees at the end of the day, more wood and stuff like that. It's not gonna be anything too crazy. But in any case, let's do the final character in this video, that being NANAMI. Kento NANAMI, a man who just wants to get the job done in time and go home. However, due to his profession, that often does not come to pass. He was endowed with the ability to create a weak spot on anything within the 7-3 ratio. But with such a simple ability, what could his domain even be? Well, his guaranteed hit would be his own strikes. What I mean by this is that when he swings, the force generated by the swing will get transferred to you as the sure hit, as if you're standing right in front of him. The only downside to this is that he can't choose where he wants to strike. However, it's not quite done. Due to the domain's enhancing capabilities, the weak points NANAMI puts onto you exist outside of his attacks. What I mean by this is because you're within his realm, you will feel the weak spots even just by standing there. A step will feel like being stabbed, and God forbid you apply any more pressure than that, it will feel like your body is being ripped apart. These enhance the weak spots would mean even the strongest opponent would be at a severe disadvantage, and even a single swing of his blade could lead you to very severe damage. In addition, due to the enhancements and some binding vows, NANAMI is able to bring his technique to a whole new dimension, that being time. If NANAMI strikes you at a specific time, the damage is increased also, and the more he lands those times, the smaller the intervals between the times become. And the cherry on top, when he enters his domain, NANAMI is granted 2 blades in the shape of clock hands. The idea for the aesthetic of the domain would be inside of a clock tower, you know, on top of clocks, all of that, because NANAMI is all about time, his overtime. Even in this ability, he has a kind of time-like ability. The other aspect of this domain's visual style is the fact that there's sand all about the place, which is a couple double meanings. The first meaning is the sand being in relation to sands of time, you know, hourglass sand, and the other being the sandy beaches on which he would love to be on. And then in terms of the clock tower thing, not only does it reference time, but also the fact that NANAMI is a cog in the machine, as Yuji puts it. And yeah, let's go ahead and show you the final drawing, that being NANAMI's domain, Temporal Severance. And yeah, that's pretty much NANAMI's domain. It wasn't as hard as NOBARA's, but it was kind of difficult to put everything together. I mean, the first thing being is that he's in a clock tower, and technically that doesn't relate to his curse technique, but I think it just works visually better, and also it kind of relates to his curse technique in this domain as he extends it to time as well. The other day I had for it, which would be more closer to his curse technique being represented, would be like a grid, like Street Fighter, like a Street Fighter grid or something like that. But I don't know, I just think this looks better, and I don't know, I think it turned out pretty damn good. This video took so long. If you watched my first video, you would know that I said that my next video would be this video. But I wanted to get the art for this, and that took a minute, I'm not gonna lie. It turned out good though, and I think the video turned out good as well. So tell me what you think about the domains, and tell me who you want me to do next time. I pretty much got ideas for every single character, so literally anyone. I'm prepared for that, even manga characters. And I don't usually tell people to subscribe because I feel like it's a bit redundant, like every single person said, like you know Wagwan. But at least for this video, I will say that I don't really have a schedule, so if you want to see more videos like this, you're kinda have to subscribe. And I'm not even a YouTuber to fill your feed with bare stuff. It's always quality over quantity, and if I'm not for you, then you can always come subscribe. That's pretty much it. Let that outro play, man. Go away, 'cause you so sorry. You so sorry. No, you so sorry.